embracing your inner power. Embracing your inner power can be powerful, but it requires your whole life to elevate, really. Once you kind of start invoking these steps, when you stop making yourself so small, get into how to embrace your inner power. This one's really easy. Well, it's easy. Easier said than done. I want you to stop saying you're sorry all the time, especially in a situation that you have nothing to be sorry for. It wasn't your fault. You didn't push someone. You didn't cut someone off or anything like that. Of course, apologize for that. I want you to start thinking of ways where you can rephrase the sorry into thank you. If you're late and you say, sorry, I'm late, that creates a positive reaction to two people. To yourself, it makes you feel bad, it makes you guilty, it makes you feel lazy, all these negative emotions. And then to the other person that you are apologizing to, they say, oh, no, it's fine, it's okay, no worries, whatever. And so they have to kind of do this kind of juggling act to make things better or to make things right or say it's fine. Creates this two negative dynamic. And then what if you tried phrasing it, thank you for waiting for me, which then creates this two positive emotional effect where you not guilting yourself, not downplaying yourself, not sabotaging yourself. You are saying, I'm grateful that you waited for me. Thank you so much for waiting for me. And that person says, oh, you're welcome. No problem. Both exchanges are way more positive than they are when it is just a negative. Changing this simple mindset of just even starting to notice where you're saying, I'm sorry all the time, and try to transform it into a sentence where it's more thankful, more gracious. You know what they say is 90% of the time it is pinpointing the actual healing, and then it is 10% of the actual healing, the involvement of the process of healing to make these changes. And this one is tricky. I want you to stop getting stuck in that victim loop mindset. Or if you do get into this victim loop mindset, to stop it, to pull yourself out of it, shake yourself up, if you will. When you find yourself in victim mentality, for example, you have a coworker and they just get under your skin and you're like, they're horrible. They keep on doing these things to me. The way that they speak to me, the way that they are just their energy, blah, blah, blah. That's just pointing the finger at them. Whereas what if you took responsibility and you realized that that person is a mirror of something either you like in yourself or you don't like in yourself, and then perhaps you're actually more similar to that person than you thought you were. What you do, you recognize whoa, I'm blaming everyone else for these problems when I can take my power. What can I control of this situation? I can control how I react to my coworker. I can choose to not let them get under my skin. I can choose to not respond in an equal passive-aggressive way or whatever, way that they are responding to you. That coworker will shift and it won't be a problem anymore because you've shifted. You shifted energetically yourself, so no longer are you a target for this person and it's no longer fun for them, as well as you've kind of recognized what patterns and what habits that they are doing that you can see in your shadow self. So recognizing points of where we blame everyone else, start to look at yourself. Where are you playing in this? What can you control in this moment? Increasing self-worth, not self-love, not face masks, bubble baths, yoga, meditation, looking at your shadow aspects of yourself, really peeling back those uncomfortable layers of things that you just don't want to face, integrating those things. So for example, you could even make a list of attributes that you consider yourself. So for example, I am organized, on time, creative, follow the rules. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the opposite of that. So for organized, you could label it as messy. If someone that follows all the rules, you could say someone that doesn't follow the rules. Perhaps they're a bit more free. Look at those, the light side and the dark side, because you have both of those attributes inside of you. But one side, the dark side, that you don't like to kind of recognize yourself as, like you would never list it on your resume, that is your shadow side, or the side that you just don't want to face. I live in a rental. Owner is having the exterior of the house painted. There are these two college kids that are painting the outside of the house. They've been really like sloppy and disrespectful with my things outside. For example, like my garden hose, they've been using it to like wash their hands, which is fine. I don't care. But I leave it all coiled up, like really nice. Like I've learned a lot about cord maintenance, and it's just ingrained into me. Interesting. So that's the light side. Very organized and putting things back where they are. These kids it's all kinked up, it's thrown across the yard, and then they leave and they haven't done anything with it. They just leave. And so I went that evening and coiled it back up after watering my plants. And again, it was uncoiled and all kinked after they had used it again. Dawned on me, that is my shadow side, is this lack of respect and lack of organization. And then I have my organization and respectfulness. So you have the light and the dark here. I just sat with it because it pissed me off. Like I was like, what the hell? This is so disrespectful. I would never do that. What are they triggering here in this shadow aspect? You know, maybe they're trying to show me I don't have to be such a perfectionist, and I don't have to be someone that follows the rules so much to a T, and I'm so organized all the time. Like I can relax a little bit. Not saying I can go full 180 and just be totally destructive. To just allow that shadow side to come in just a little bit, that more untamed, wild woman, wild male, you know, if you're a man, like aspect out of you a little bit. Like not to go off the rails, but just to allow that shadow side to creep in a little bit and just notice it, integrate it, relax a little bit if you're someone like very high strung like I am. Know thyself without adding anything. Like you yourself today, who are you? If everything was stripped away, your car, your money, your friends, your family, your house, it sounds pretty bleak. Everything was gone. Who would you be at your core? What do you have in your experience, in your life? Like, who are you? That could be a really good journal prompt if you want to dig into that, as well as the shadow light side attributes. Who are you? I know it's a deep question. Get creative, learn, explore, allow yourself to be messy, bad at it at first, because you're going to be messy and bad at it at first. Always expand, and it doesn't have to be something that you make as a job, as a career. It can just be for fun. For example, the other day I picked some like wildflowers and brought them back, and I drew them on some watercolor paper and painted with some watercolor, and I am terrible. I am terrible, but it was just really fun. Make choices out of love and not fear. There's a clip in the movie Donnie Darko where the teacher shows like love and fear on a chart, and he's like,
you can't just lump everything into these two categories and then just deny everything else.
It's not that simple, but it is that simple. It's making choices out of love instead of fear, instead of constantly fueling this fear cycle of the what ifs and the unknown, scary stuff. What if you just followed your heart, what makes you happy, feels good, listening to that intuition, to your heart when it feels happy around a person, you know, when it doesn't feel happy around a person, doing an activity, does it make you feel, free and joyful and excited, or does it feel like a burden? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel dark? Like really start making choices out of love, or better yet, make choices that are fuck yes energy instead of no energy. So if you're trying to make a choice, is it a fuck yes? Yeah, great, good. If it's not a fuck yes, then it's a no. Done. Simple. But it's not that simple, but it is that simple. No one is coming to save you. This is a quote by Mel Robbins, and I love her.
No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise.
It is your responsibility to create the life that you want. If you want a healthy body and a fit body, you have to create that. You can't just wish it into existence. You have to make it happen. You want a relationship that you dream about, that you'd rather not be in these crappy toxic relationships, then you need to work on yourself. What is need healing in yourself? Where are you self-sabotaging? Where are you not setting boundaries with these people? It is your responsibility to make and mold your life. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to give you $1 million. Like, it has to be you. Boundaries, 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 as well as to express your feelings. They go hand in hand. They're very uncomfortable if you're someone that is a people pleaser and you constantly say yes and take on way too much, and then your plate is full, and then you're stressed out, and then you're like, how did I get here? Setting boundaries is really uncomfortable. I like to think of it similar to giving a art critique kind of compliment. So an art critique is usually a compliment, the critique, and then another compliment about the artwork. So it's like a little compliment sandwich. So what I have found really works for me, that makes it easy to set a boundary, is a compliment boundary. Say something kind or nice about the situation, boundary, and with something positive. So if someone invited you to this thing and you can't go, you can say, hey, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm sorry, but I cannot make it. But let me know next time. Now with work, if your boss reaches out to you and they're like, hey, can you do this right now? But you can't, you're busy, you have some other things you need to do. You can say, thank you for trusting me with this responsibility. I can't get to it just yet, but I can get to it tomorrow. And then that's it. That's all you have to say. Practice stating those boundaries, as well as expressing those feelings, especially the uncomfortable ones that we don't like to express. So if someone's making you angry, tell them, this is making me mad. I am upset, I am angry. Some people don't like to hear that, and they're like, well, don't be mad. We're trying to have a good time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm mad, and I have a right to be mad, and I'm mad. So we can either talk about this, or I'm going to leave. Or you're waiting in line, and someone approaches you, and they make you uncomfortable. It is 100% in your right to say, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. This is weird. I don't really want to talk. Like, I'm just not in the mood. Like, you can just say that. Like, you don't have to go along with their story and listen to them, like, because you feel like you have to. You can be like, hey, thank you for talking to me, but right now I am not in the mood to be talked with. Maybe another time. Telling people how it is, like, right then and there, like, honesty is the best policy with everything. So that's a few ways to kind of build that inner fire, that inner power, claim back what is yours, and start living your life with this fierceness. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. It's easier than said. I do offer a self-worth class below, as well as I have a pick a card reading all about your inner power. That'll be linked below. Let me know down in the comments, what are some things that you're working on to really grow this inner power? Let's have a discussion. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.